Hi all, this is Skate, and this is a short video on the Panzer 58 Mutz, so it's a Mutz mastery. Now, I bought this tank in December when I wasn't really playing too much, and I kind of felt a bit disappointed after buying it. I felt like the tank was underperforming. I felt it was a little bit subpar. I checked my statistics afterwards, and I went, hang on, I felt like I was doing bad in this tank, but according to my statistics, it's got a higher average win rate than my other tier A mediums. But I felt like I performed well in other tier A mediums. I didn't feel like I performed well in this. And that was a bit weird. And the answer to that was there's nothing wrong with the tank. It was me. I just didn't gel well with this tank when I first bought it. I just didn't feel like I enjoyed it. So after buying it, I genuinely felt like it was a big fat waste of gold. Now, however, I adore this little Mutz. It's brilliant. But it's also a tank you barely see on the battlefield. And in fact, it's a tank which, when I take out, I've had people say, why Mutz Skate? So why not? I like the tank. And I've either had a response of going, well, you're a bit weird, which I don't dispute, but it's not a bad tank. And after having a rocky start with this tank, I love this tank now. It is so much fun to play. And when played correctly, it can be a dominating force, and it can be a very tough tank to deal with. I mean, yeah, if you come across a Mutz and it's completely on the flat, it's a bit squishy. It's quite easy to deal with. But come across a Mutz using its 10 degrees of gun depression, just poking that little turret over ridges like this, it becomes quite a challenging tank to deal with, and surprisingly, that turret is quite bouncy. The front upper plate and the turret both have 125mm of armour. When you're using the 10 degrees of gun depression, look at the sloping on that front hull. That starts to go up to 220+ of effective thickness, which basically means anything firing normal ammunition is going to struggle. Not a lot of people load premium ammunition to deal with a Mutz, so all of a sudden your armor's becoming challenging. And then the turret. I mean, you've got a nice sized gun mantlet considering how small the turret is. But even so, the cheek's right next to the gun mantlet. Effective thickness when using the 10 degrees of gun depression goes to 140+, and that's only a small patch on either side of the gun mantlet. Next to that then starts going up to 240mm, and then after that, you're looking 300 in patches. So using that gun depression is what makes this tank special. Also, using that gun depression at a medium range is also what makes this special, because it's harder to hit any weak spots on the turret or on the hull, but also that's when you can make the gun sing in that environment, because you've only got 2,392 damage per minute, which isn't a huge value, but it's more than enough for a tier A medium. Especially when you combine that with a very healthy 212mm of penetration and 0.308 gun dispersion, and pretty much what works out around a second and a half aim time. It means you can literally pop that little turret, snap a shot off, and then get back into cover very quickly. In regards to this game, this is where I need to get back into some form of cover. Now, I tracked that SU-152 to stop him chasing me straight away. If I didn't, he would have got that shot off much earlier, but it did mean taking some shots from that Type 62 Dragon. Now, the reality is I could afford some shots off the Dragon. I probably couldn't afford one shot from the SU-152. But that left us in a 1 versus 4 scenario. The Type 59 rushed the back of us, but it allowed us to get a shot off on him and finish him off, and the same with the Type 62 Dragon, which takes our 1 versus 4 down to a 1 versus 2, except I'm a one-shot to pretty much both tanks, and the AT-15 is in much healthier condition than me. So I'm gonna go take advantage of those things I mentioned earlier in this video: the gun depression, the small turret, 10 degrees of gun depression, and that very reliable gun. Now, one thing I haven't mentioned is the premium ammunition, the APCR on this, and I personally prefer APCR to heat, but it packs 259mm of penetration, which again is more than enough to deal with the vast majority of tanks you come across. And in this circumstance, I really wanted to get some extra damage done to this AT-15, so I've managed to get one into him. My next one I am going to fluff up a little bit And I think I hit the side of the gun mantlet, which is why it bounced. But I'm not popping up here again because now he's back in a position where he can get another shot on me. So it's time to try and double bluff the guy. I'm going to pretend to be driving left, reverse up, and now I'm going to gain a bit of momentum so I can get down into cover as quick as I can. And remember, I'm a medium tank, so I have a better view range than those tanks, and I also have better mobility. So I'm going to use those to my advantage, and this is where the accuracy of this gun comes into play. We can very quickly deal with the SU-152, which leaves us from a 1 versus 4 into a 1 versus 1. But again, the AT-15 has a lot of hit points. And I didn't get spotted shooting that SU-152. So I'm hoping he thinks I have still gone left, because I could have got the SU-152 from going left as well. And obviously we're going to find out now. Is he facing me or is he facing the other way? And as soon as we come down, we realise he is facing the other way, which allows us to get one extra shot into him. And using the gun depression here, the fact he has a weak spot on top of his tank, and it's on the side of the tank, which now benefits us, because using the gun depression here, I can get very close, pop his weak spot, get back into cover, and he can't even hit me with his gun. Which means we are going to win the 1 versus 4, and we are going to win this game. Only just, I had very low hit points, and I think one more shot, if it wasn't a bounce on the turret, would have resulted in my death. But again, trying to play carefully, it kind of avoids that. What that left us with, though, was 88,000 credits. We did 3,700 damage, which is respectable for tier 8. It's not huge figures. This game was more about the 1 versus 4 environment. But yeah, that's pretty much the Panzer 58 Mutz. It's literally gone from what I thought was a very boring, bland, subpar tank to a tank which I will continue to play an awful lot. And thankfully, a lot of people do underestimate this tank, which obviously works to your advantage. I hope you have enjoyed the video though. Thank you all very much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye bye.